Nigeria Access to Trade. Nigeria is a country in West Africa. It was colonized by the British in 1884, and the colony is established at Berlin Conference, which divided Africa by Europeans' powers. The British targeted Nigeria because of its resources. The British wanted products like palm oil and palm kernel, and export trade in tin, cotton, cocoa, groundnut, palm oil, and so on. The British accompanied the colonization by using its military, although there was strong resistance from natives against the British. It was all crushed by the British. As a result, the trading post at the Niger River is created and the British economy rule is maintained over the colonized and uploading Nigeria. After the British conquest of North and Southern Nigeria and the merging of the two established Nigerian colonies and protectorates, the British seek the best interest between direct rule and indirect rule. They will not hesitate to use means of direct rule if they think that the indirect rule cannot guarantee their colonized status. The divide and rule policy is always adopted by the British over the colonization of Nigeria. The consequence of the colonization consists of many parts. Politically, slavery was abolished. Economically, the tax system and transportation system depends on the British plunder and control over the economy in Nigeria. Culturally, the British control the religion culture in Nigeria through training a group of local people to spread Christianity in Nigeria, opening missionary schools and other ways. Nigeria was granted independence on October 1st, 1960, but the journey to achieving the right to self-governance started 7 years before, when Anthony Enaro moved the motion for self-governance in the British-led Parliament in 1953. Foremost Nigerians like Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Tafawa Balewa, who like Enaro, were some of the nationalists who fought for the country's independence. They were trying their best to convince their colonized Britain of the needs for independence, but proof and the capacity of self-governance. They had to use their knowledge to prove this by presentation at the Parliament and with solid logic. On the other hand, British need to consider the gain and the loss from Nigeria, since British is under a turbulent era. Nazism in the European was over, but Communist and Soviet Union was increasingly powerful. The available resources were limited, so it's necessary for British to balance the risking of losing their power in the world. But today, the question is, after independence, 63 years of independence, 63 years of self-governance, 63 years of freedom as a nation, then what it is after 63 years? Exactly what are we celebrating after 63 years? Yes, we are free on papers. Yes, we are free from the hand of the British. But sincerely, are we truly free? Are we free from self-slavery? Are we free from injustice? Are we free from underdevelopment? Are we free from suffering amongst people in Nigeria? In fact, do you know that conventionally says that Nigeria's unique forest region is among the richest in Africa? The country is also home to numerous important game reserves such as the Yankari and the Kainji National Parks. National resources and power. Nigeria has a variety of both renewable and non-renewable resources, some of which has not yet been effectively tapped. Solar energy, probably the most extensive of the underutilized renewable resources, is likely to remain untapped for some time. Resources extraction is the most important sector of the economy. The most economical, valuable mineral resources are crude oil, natural gas, coal, tin, and columbite. Petroleum, first discovered in 1956, is the most important source of government revenue and foreign exchange. Most of the oil output comes from offshore field in Niger Delta. Although an increasing proportion of the crude oil is produced at offshore locations, there are oil refineries at Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. Here, the question is, today, Nigeria has refineries, but are we truly proud of functioning refineries in the country? But the question is it that we can't maintain these refineries, or we don't have the resources to ensure the functioning of this refinery? Come to think of it, that if this refinery are well functioning, it will provide employment to young youths and graduates in the country. It ponders my heart. 63 years, we can't maintain refinery. 63 years, we still depend on other countries in petroleum. 63 years of what exactly? However, there were vast reserves of natural gas, but most of the gas produced is a byproduct of crude oil. In the past, this was burned off as there was no market for it. But production has since increased, and Nigeria became a global rank exporter of this commodity. Production has often been interrupted by protest as the inhabitants of the oil-producing region have demanded a large share of the revenue. Nigeria possesses significant reserves of coal, but these deposits are being developed gradually. Coal is used by the railroads, by traditional metal industries, and by power plants to generate electricity. Coal mining, initially concentrated around the city of Enugu and its environment, began in 1915. It declined after late 1950s with the discovery of oil. Here, let's pause. Why should it decline? A discovery of another resources shouldn't stop the continuation of the first found resources. The problem of Nigeria has been focused on only petroleum, that is crude oil, being the major revenue source for the country. In expenses of agriculture, when we have different produce, other resources in the country are not being focused because of crude oil. Should it be so? 63 years of underdevelopment, 63 years of not growing, 63 years of what exactly? 63 years. About 1/5 of the country power is provided by hydroelectricity. Although this source has the potential to provide an evergreen greater amount of power. The main source of hydroelectric power are dams at Kanji and Shiroro, Niger area. Ajeba in Kwara State. Thermal plant fired with natural gas and coal supply about 4/5 of the country's power, and include those of the Afam, Sapele and Lagos, and on the Oji River. Demand, however, also exceeds supply. Let's pause. Here, 63 years of unstable power supply. However, we have the capacity to establish good power supply in the country. Where are we feeling it? Where are we missing it as a country? Where have we missed it as leaders, as people within our country, Nigeria? Finance. The Central Bank of Nigeria issues the national currency, the naira, which has been devalued several times since 1980. The central bank has branches in all the state capitals and provide guidelines to all commercial and merchant banks in the country. In 1976, all foreign banks were compelled to sell 60% of their shares to Nigerians. Bank proliferated in the 1980s after the financial sector was liberalized. Many of these banks proved unstable. However, and in 1995, the government was forced to rescue some of them. Soon after, the government began privatizing banks and closing those that have violated banking regulations. By the beginning of the 21st century, the country had some 100 banks and financial institutions, and branch locations were widespread. There are a stock exchange and a securities exchange commissioned in Lagos. Here today, since 1980, Naira has been devalued. This is 2023, and yet been devalued. It wonders me that where did Nigeria miss it? It was once recorded that in 1983, that Naira was equal to dollar. That is, 1 Naira equals to $1. And since then, the Naira has been devalued to dollar. Fast forward to 2023. As of today, $1 equals to 1,000 Naira plus. 1,000 plus to $1. It bothers my heart that where have we missed it as a country? Where have we missed it as leaders in the country? This has resulted into hike in prices of food and supplies of raw materials in the country today. Whereas we live on US dollar in a country as Nigeria. Then the question is, what are we doing? What are we going to do to ensure that Nigerians enjoy its liberty, its freedom? Are we truly independent? We have been enslaved by ourselves in several areas. Unemployment in every sector of the country. Often said but amongst the youth, Japa, a lot of people, a lot of youths prefer to find their way out of the country and use their skills in another nation. Why? Because their skills cannot materialize in a country like Nigeria. Unemployment. Hundreds of youth graduates in a country without jobs. 63 years of undevelopment. 63 years of what exactly are we celebrating? Yes, there is freedom of speech. Is there truly freedom of speech among the people? Police brutality, injustice in our courts and environment, and all areas in the country as at today. Nigeria must be free. Our economy is underdeveloped. 63 years of what exactly? The educational sector has deteriorated. 63 years of what exactly? It was once said that Nigeria is the giant of Africa. that when Nigeria stays in a place, they were being respected. But today, is it so? Our national passport, is it respected as before? Our people in other countries, are they being respected as before? 63 years of what exactly? Justice for Nigerians. Justice for Nigerians. Nigerians deserve good living. Nigeria deserves growth. Nigeria deserves development. The people of Nigeria deserve justice. Justice for Nigeria. Happy Independence Day. Written by Ayobami Jegede and read also by Hamid Jegede from the staple of the Media TV.